As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. I'm sorry. I'm able to get back into the booth. I'm back into the I'm back into the office. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty hype. Okay, so we're here with Snort Burnell, DSP Gaming. My streams are good. And and if you pay money, you have the right to criticize. Oh my god. Oh. Just a second. Oh. That's terminology and static select in the background, by the way. Oh, baby. Oh my god. You only have the right to criticize if you pay me money. That's amazing. Ooh. Oh my god. Okay, let me get together. Being very unprofessional about this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, Phil apparently... oh, that's Bum B, by the way. Phil's apparently butthurt. Okay, I'm ready. Phil's apparently butthurt on, one, the DSP, his DSP fan art for, whatever the name of that new game is. Whatever pirate game he's playing currently. Sea of Thieves, I think is what it's called. He's also pretty upset about the DS, This Is How You Don't Plays, or the compilations of his Street Fighter footage that's come out recently. Go and check it out. I think Volt Boy, David Davison have made it so far. I think those are the only two who have made it so far. There's going to be more. Check that out. Also, shouts out to Memology 101, to D, and to Gout Police. Go and check out all three of their channels. Please check out what they're producing. It's amazing. By all means, please go over there. Check that out. Alright, so Phil's butthurt about his Sea of Thieves fan art that was donated to him. He's mad about people basically chopping and screwing on his Street Fighter footage. And something about you guys got to pay money now to criticize. Now, the thing is over the last couple days, I've been off, so you guys know how that been. But I've been keeping up with what's going on. Over the last couple of days, Phil has basically put out the edict, kinda, that if you guys are willing to pay money, you can basically be unbanned. That's nothing new, though. That's been going on for a very, very long time. So that's nothing new at all. Now, Phil is saying that if his streams are not entertaining, then you, as the viewers, should make it more entertaining. You need to contribute just that much more now to make everything kind of fall into place for him and for the business. So now you guys have become essentially employees. Now, if you want to criticize, if you want to place your vote, essentially, if you want to state your opinion, well, not place your vote, but if you want to state your opinion, it's going to cost you also. It's getting absolutely fascinating over there in the Pig Road Society. I don't know what's exactly going on. I don't know how some of you are willing to let this all go on. It's absolutely fascinating. But ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. Oh boy, this is gonna be a hard video to get through because Twitter was already funny, so which is what I'm laughing about. So now I actually have to watch the video. Oh my god, it's gonna be entertaining to hear this go on. Anyway, one more time, I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network and productions. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work. Gotta pay for criticism. Amazing.
What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Sounds
So,
great.
That's today's first stream here, mainstream, will be co-op and Sea of Thieves. You know, it's funny because the overwhelming feedback that I got after yesterday's stream was that it was a really good.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna try to hold it together for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort, Burnell, Dspgaming. My streams are good and positive, and if you pay money, you have the right to criticize. Amazing.
Stream, people really enjoyed it. There were some people who really weren't even interested in the game, but they said that the stream was very fun to watch me play. Again, because I was honest.
What? You have to be brain dead fucking stupid to believe that. I realize I have a hardcore fan base who want to watch me play whatever. No matter what I play, they don't care. They're here. I'm pretty sure we all knew that it was about some kind of a fanatical cult.
Because I, was trying to learn everything on the fly. Seeing the co-op aspect was pretty good. People liked that. And it's funny because I got a few people who said, I can't believe it. I went to see Phil's stream. I expected rage and he was going to be acting like a jerk. And the stream wasn't like that. And I'm like, well, yeah. Because generally that's not what my streams are about. People who believe that are people who only watch the negative montages. They don't actually come and watch the streams at all. They watch highlights of people only taking the...
Because it's easy to cut out the bullshit. Now, Snort Burnell says that he's trying to be more positive, or he's trying to have more positive streams for the reason of it's getting more boring, his content's getting stale, and he's really trying to draw people in. The problem is, and shouts out to Snort Burnell for that, but the problem is Phil's kind of being counterintuitive. You're trying to be positive on your streams, yet you're still banning everybody left and right, including those second-class citizens that I like to call, well, I call them second-class citizens, but that's how you treat them, meaning the people who are gifted subs. Phil's still going ahead and just laying it all down, clack, 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 and go ahead and getting them up and out of there. So there's nothing really positive about his streams. And more importantly, every game that is asked for, that his fan base, the viewers who are asking him to play Fortnite, he won't play it. He refuses to do it. But then he has the nerve in the next sentence to be like, oh, well, I really don't have anything to play, guys. Now, keep in mind, I'm recording this on Thursday, so now he has his new releases. He has the South Park DLC. He has Sea of Thieves, and there's one other game I think that's supposed to be coming out. But earlier in the week, though, he was basically looking at his audience and being like, hey, what am I going to do? Because I have nothing to play and everything is getting boring and all you guys are just leaving. I mean, Phil, that's your own fault, though. You're the one who had told your fan base from the hop that, hey, if they didn't like what was going on, they could leave. They could pick up and bounce. So that's what they did. And because of how frequently you ban people, including some of the dumb reasons why you ban them, there's just no reason to be there. Phil is constantly trying to fight against the wave that he's already been engulfed by. And it's absolutely entertaining. He thinks being positive is going to be what is going to be the antithesis of his revitalization, and it's not. Like, you've been pushing this DS positive bullshit for years, and it doesn't work because you can't hold to it. Because Phil's not a positive person. He tries to be positive when it benefits him, but he almost always screws it up exclusively. So you're kind of just wasting your time. And with the stream counts, his sub counts dwindling, with viewership dwindling, and now he is relying on new releases more than ever. What's he really going to do? What does he really have to offer? And now that he wants his fan base to be more entertaining and to engage him more, which seems kind of stupid because most of those people in his chat don't even talk because they're afraid of getting banned for some dumbass reason. You can ask him one question and get banned for it. And it's not even it's nothing. Those questions aren't even trollish. They're just a question that catches him sideways and he immediately bans them. He automatically assumes that it's trollish, so he just tosses it off to the side. How's that being positive? How is that cultivating a very positive environment? I don't know. I'm just a sharp dog. I'm just a dog in a sharp suit. So it is what it is. DSP News.
Negative montage moments, and posting them up. And, in a video that only highlights that shit. I'll give you guys a perfect example.
Well, and back to my original point, the reason why the highlight videos are so popular, the chop and screws and so on and so forth, the reason why they hold the attention of people, the reason why they have very high replay value, the reason why people gravitate towards it is look at how much content he puts out. Content that he actually puts out. It's enormous. And no one has time to siphon through all that bullshit. So it's much easier to catch what the highlights are and then keep it moving. If people really want to support you, they'll go to the streams. Because I can't say with all honesty that someone would be willing to sit down and watch, I don't know, 100+ parts of Bully. No one has that type of time in their day. I'm a detractor and I can tell you I don't have that much time in a day. I don't have that much time in a week. I don't think anybody does. You know what I'm saying? I doubt Brightside Viking had that much time, being one of his most dedicated. No one does. So it's easier to go ahead and just catch the little snippets. If you feel that it's being unfair to Phil, then you'll just go ahead and jump over there to Phil's streams. Oh, I saw this video and I thought you were being misrepresented, so now I'm over here to see it. See how that works, Phil? You see how you turn a positive into a negative? If you guys really think I'm such a bad player, I'm just such a bad person, then go to the detractors and see what they're actually producing. See how they go ahead and, as you say, Phil, manipulate the circumstances, take everything out of context, yada, 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 yada. Go over there and see that. And either one of two things will happen, or one of three things, I'm sorry. A, all of it is dumb, and they just go ahead and leave altogether. 2, they're sympathetic to your cause, and they go over to you. Or 3, they're like, I think I'm going to stay over here on this side and just watch this a little longer, just to see what's up. And then that person right there is kind of a toss-up, because either A, they enjoy the detractor stuff and they just kind of stick with it, or B, they decide to go over to your side, or C, they just become neutral. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be for the laughs. This isn't some type of movement where people need to pick sides like this is politics or some shit. It just doesn't necessarily have to work that way. It's not that serious. Because if that was the case, you would have been dethroned a long time ago. Just saying. DSP News.
Alright, here's a really perfect example. Alright. Ultra Street Fighter 2. This is a game that last year, when I played it over the course of the summer of 2017, I overwhelmingly dominated my opposition. I won way more matches than I lost. It was just really good high-level gameplay. Of course, there was tons of lag and tons of bullshit, because the game allows overpowered characters like Akuma to be put...
I beg to differ. Every time you lost, Phil, there was a reason why you lost. And I'm speaking on your behalf here. Every time you lost the game last summer, because I distinctly remember it, because I watched a lot of videos by David Davison as well as others, and Volt Boy and all of them, to really see what was going on, as well as Julius Cruz. I saw a lot of compilations of your gameplay through them and others, and every loss you had, you made an excuse for. You never once, actually, let me give you the benefit of the doubt, maybe a handful of times, maybe you took your loss you took the L as a man, and were like, you know what, that guy was better than me. That person just straight out beat me, and I have nothing to say about it. Good match. Outside of those, maybe 3 or 4. I'll be generous, and I'll give you one more, so we'll say 5. You pretty much had an excuse for every time you lost. And it was ironic how every time you lost, it was always lag. Or every time a move didn't come out, I didn't do that. I didn't press that button. Even though you said, I was blocking that when you were in the air when you got hit. You were still in the air when you said you blocked that. There are situations and circumstances like that you really must think your fan base are idiots, because for anybody else, they can see through your bullshit. You never took a clear loss. Well, like I said, I'll give you 5 times. but you never really took a loss clean. You never sat there and was like, you know what, I lost because this person was just better than me. It is what it is. You always have an excuse. You've always been that way, but you always have an excuse for something. So you can't sit there and throw off no bullshit about high-level gameplay and so on and so forth, when in truth, the opposition either A, wasn't as skilled, they were scrubs, which is what you go hunting for anyway, or B, they had lag or whatever the case may be on their end. Remember, Phil, you got business class internet. You know what I mean? And more importantly than that, your connection for the most part was on point. Am I saying Phil didn't have laggy games? I'm not saying that, because that's obviously not true. That'd be blatantly lying that he didn't have lag. But most of those battles he won. So, yet again, I don't want to hear no shit about high level gameplay. You know what I'm saying? When 30th anniversary comes out, there are going to be people coming for bacon. I'm coming for bacon. So, I hope to see you up there, Phil. I hope to see you up there. Especially on the weekends, was when I'm expecting you to be playing. So, you know, you'll run into me eventually. I'm not going to tell you what my gamer tag is, though, because that would ruin the fun. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a couple matches first, and then I'll switch over to another gamer tag. And then you'll know who it is. Maybe. You probably won't. Maybe people in your chat will. Doesn't matter. By then, I would already be knee deep in that bacon anyway. So, it is what it is. DSP News.
In ranked matches. So when I did fight one of those, I raged. Alright, because it is true. It's completely unfair. It's broken, and Capcom are a bunch of assholes.
Why am I toxic? Someone who doesn't deserve any popularity on YouTube because he's a bad person, because this is how he plays games.
Yep.
He doesn't respect game developers.
Nope.
He just insults them constantly.
Sure does.
That's what Phil is.
Yep.
He's a bad person.
Yes, he is.
He's a bad gamer.
Yes, he is.
But here's the evidence. Look at this. This is how you don't play video for this game. It's terrible.
For putting that shit into ranked gameplay. So what do the idiots do? Do they actually show an accurate representation of what those streams entailed, which was mostly high-level gameplay with respectful commentary, and every once in a while some...
What the hell is respectful commentary, Phil? When he's winning, he doesn't say shit to you until he actually wins the match, and then he goes on and fucks like, oh, look at that scrub. Oh, he wasn't shit. Oh, this was easy. This was light work. But then when he loses, he has all these little, what? Dude, nothing I can do. Oh my god, the lag. This is bullshit. He's stream sniping. That's the extent. That right there was literally the extent of his commentary. That's all. It's all right there. You don't believe me? Go and watch his gameplays. That's the extent of his commentary. Because when he plays Street Fighter, it's probably one of the very few games that he doesn't look at the chat. He's very much focused on the television. He is very much completely enveloped into the game itself. It's one of the few games that he's actually like that. Just saying.
No, of course not. You get the montage that shows Phil's yelling at this person, right? And it only shows, like, maybe literally 1 to 2% of what actually took place on the majority of streams. And over the summer, I played it in.
Do you want them to go through each and every video you put out? They'd all have gray hair at that point. You got to understand, and this is why I have so much respect for people who go through Phil's shit and edit that out. There's too many people to name, but you guys all know who are the players in that. You have to really think about that for a minute. You have to wade through shit, literally, to find, the gems in it. And we're talking about something that probably takes hours and hours at a time. I don't know if it's been a while since I've had a chance to kind of speak to Volt Boy, because it's only been like touch and go, like, hey man, great video type stuff. But he's a good example of someone who probably has to wade through that shit. David Davidson's another one who has to wade through that shit. It takes a while. You know what I mean? It takes a while to make shit like that happen. So, you know what kind of fucking stress you have to listen to? You know what kind of snorting you have to go through and belching and all kinds of other nonsense to get to, the parts that you need to try to make it entertaining? Like, at least I think, in my opinion, I didn't appreciate what goes into something like that until, whose video was it? He's not known, sadly, and I just kind of ran into his channel a few months ago, because he only posts like 3 or 4 times a month. But he had like a behind the scene process of when he goes in and he cuts through like edited gameplay, especially for this video that he made about Phil, at least some of his gameplay and shit. And it was like 30 something minutes long. And I'm sitting here listening to this shit. And keep in mind, he's speeding shit up and whatever. He's got time lapses and everything like that. And I'm like, wow. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not doing that shit. Not at all. Oh my God. Hell no. I remember I was looking at Kenny and shit, and I was like, yo, he's like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. Like, nah, dog. That's two people in this office who are like, nah, we don't want no parts of that at all. Like, I salute you. I salute all of you for that, but god damn, I'm not doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Hell no. Sitting through and having to go through his commentary is already one thing, but damn, you got to go through the editing process. And I'm talking about he would scrap a project like 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? 3 or 4 times. We're talking about 15, 20-minute type montages, right? Okay, so we're talking about at the 15-minute mark, he has one thing that he didn't like, and he was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to scrap the whole shit, and he'll just start from scratch again the next day, or whatever day it was that he gets back on there. I was like, whoa. And he'd already put in 2.5 hours at that point. I was like, god damn. No. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not doing that shit. So anyway, I'm sorry, guys, but just the amount of dedication that goes into something should not be overstated. That's all I'm saying. Shouts out to all of y'all. I love y'all. GTG from DSP News.
June, July, August, and September. And I played it probably about 12 times or more. So, you're talking a good 30 hours or more of gameplay. They probably showed like 15 minutes. The 15 minutes where I raged. But that's representative of my streams, right? Of course not. And it's, Phil sucks. It's like, don't play Ultra Street Fighter 2. Phil sucks. It's like, huh? No. Look at my win-loss record. I was in the top one.
Oh boy. Okay, so Snort Burnell says right here, well, that's the only reason why someone would watch his videos, for those moments that are a little bit entertaining and not hours upon hours of false positivity without any type of intelligence or funny commentary or comments also.
100 and I was whooping ass and I was doing really good. How can you tell me that I suck at the game when the majority of matches I'm dominating the opponents?
And he says here that the PR cult loves him no matter what. But even amongst them, it's starting to get boring with this whole false positivity, and he really thinks that he can attract new people to watch his streams and his videos. Ironically, that's the reason why most people are leaving. He is the best attractor. And yeah, I don't disagree with any of that, to be perfectly honest with you. One of the biggest things with the false positivity thing is not really anything that you have to worry about. Phil will give up on that. It's just in his nature. The thing is, though, too, is Phil's reputation precedes him. And I want you guys to think about that, because some of you are people who frequent other channels. So you're kind of enveloped in this whole community, in this whole DSP shit. But even outside of that, to a degree, his toxicity kind of expands beyond that. The people who come to Phil who are brand new are literally people who just don't know who he is, or they've only heard of him by like brief hearsay. That's it. The people who really know about that shit, who have really caught the whiff, the scent of gout, as I like to call it, by Cat, they know. They know to just stay away from. Think about it like this, for example. Okay, as it pertains to his whole positivity. All right, someone who I haven't watched a lot of him lately, but someone that I did watch a lot frequently, I used to, is Low Tier God. Okay, so I had said earlier on when I started doing these videos that it would be kind of cool if Low Tier God and DSP actually collaborated. You know what I mean? It would draw a shitload of attention, you know what I mean, to be honest with you, and they could make something out of it. The thing is about Low Tier God is, even though he doesn't have Phil's influence, and he doesn't have, his channel isn't as large and so on and so forth, and he's still fighting to get himself back on Twitch, his fan base is growing. You know what I mean? It is growing. But think about this. Low Tier God recognizes Phil as such a toxic individual that even he doesn't want to be associated with it. Like, you don't bring DSP up in his chat at all. You don't bring up DSP to him on Twitter. Not at all. You just don't. He wants no parts of that. He doesn't want it to be mentioned. He doesn't want his name to be mentioned with DSP. None of that shit. Because he recognizes that despite what Low Tier God's known for, despite the brand that he's kind of built up, and despite all of the detractors and haters Low Tier God has, he realizes that Phil is worse. He realizes that Phil is much worse, and that, in my own personal opinion, there's possibly hope for Low Tier God, not for Phil. You know what I'm saying? You know, Low Tier God is trying to cement himself amongst fighting game players. There are a lot of pro fighting game players out there who like Low Tier God, who say he's actually a pretty nice guy. A lot of people believe that the whole Low Tier God persona or prosona is just that. It's just it's an act. It's a kind of like a gimmick in a way, kind of like what Phil was trying to do until Phil was always Phil. So is what it is with that. So he's actually trying to build something. The only way that he'll actually get the reach that he needs, in my own personal opinion, is he needs to get back on Twitch. Whether he will or not, I can't tell you. A lot of people say that he may not make it back on there. Some people are saying that they might give him another shot, especially the way the new TOS is basically shaped up. I mean, he would definitely not be able to do what he was doing previously, obviously. But with the new terms of service, he would have to be super fucking careful. But, you know, one day he might make it up there. But we'll have to wait and see. But the point is that even someone like a Low Tier God doesn't want to be associated with Phil. You know what I mean? Like, that's how toxic Phil is. That's how radioactive he is. So this whole positivity nonsense isn't going to work. It's a facade. It's a dog and pony show. The dog is dead, and the horse is about to die, and then they're going to turn him into hamburgers. It is what it is.
And I have an amazing win-loss record. Oh, because you only focus on the bullshit. So it's kind of the same thing here, you know, where, you know, I have a really great stream yesterday, you know, honest reactions, great co-op gameplay with people, you know, really fun. I'm enjoying myself. Everyone watching the stream enjoys it. And then some people are like, wow, I'm so surprised. You know, this is nothing like what people say Phil streams are. No kidding. No kidding. You know, I definitely recommend you come by and watch for yourself to see what actual streams actually are, rather than just listen to a bunch of negative kids who want to spin stuff to try to get views on their videos on YouTube.
When you have no life, when you have nothing positive going on for you, you take that time that you have nothing to do with, and you spend it doing negative shit instead. So instead of going out and seeking friends or hobbies or significant other, these people prefer to just sit and be miserable at home constantly and do negative shit to people on the internet. You know?
Like yourself.
It's pathetic. And it's sad in a lot of ways.
But like yourself, though.
That's life for some people, I guess.
Huh.
I got the chair.
Yeah, I'm a gamer!
Shout outs!
Critical for Days cheered and said, hey Phil, I've been seeing a lot of fan art from your fans, but I don't really like this one in particular. It lacks effort, and probably the guy took 5 minutes to do it. I'm not kidding, but I know people put effort in. Well, listen, no one else did it. No one else did fan art.
Now, actually, interestingly enough, Phil was actually prodding at that back in like mid-February. I think in like early mid-February, he was talking about that, how he was kind of down about the lack of fan art that was given to him this year in 2018. So the fact that someone decided to throw some fan art at him and people are shitting on it is kind of surprising. Now, I'm not saying that all the fan art Phil ever got was terrible, or received, I should say, was terrible or horrible. He actually had some gems. Especially last year. He had some pretty decent ones. He had some pretty decent ones. But this one right here, I don't know if it's as bad as people say it is or whatnot. I'll put it. I think I have it on my Twitter, so I'll put it up on stream and whatnot, so you guys got to see it for yourself. Phil is just appreciative of whatever he gets, and he's always been like that with fan art. Even if the fan art shits on him, Almighty Tevin has videos talking about this. Phil will take it because he has no standards. Anything that's given to him, he'll just go ahead and use it without any other real recourse, which is what ended up getting him in trouble with that whole copyright situation in the first place. But go figure, some people just don't learn. Is it horrible? I don't seem that bad. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's no guarantee Phil will finish the gameplay, the playthrough anyway. So who cares? But apparently there was a lot of opinions thrown out about it. So let's see what Phil has to say about it.
So I'd much rather have a, rushed, taped together fan art than...
Yeah, but Snort Burnell's like, he's too lazy to do it themselves. It would be terrible if he tried to do his own fan art. That's why he doesn't do it. That's why he has other people do it.
No fan art at all. So, I'm not picky. And sadly, did you do fan art? You know, I'm not trying to be a jerk critical.
Like, I'm not picky. It's like the story of Phil's life. I'm not picky. I'll just settle for whatever's given to me. That's great.
Fan art from your fans, but I don't really like this one in particular. It lacks effort, and probably the guy took 5 minutes to do it. I'm not hating, but I want people to put effort in. Well, listen, no one else did it. No one else did fan art. So I'd much rather have a, you know, rushed, taped together fan art than no fan art at all. So, you know, I'm not picky, and sadly, did you do fan art? You know, I'm not trying to be a jerk critical for days, but did you do fan art? No. Well, then guess what? You really shouldn't criticize this fan art, because if you can't do better or didn't even put any effort in, you have no right to criticize what they did. That's the bottom line. It's just called nitpicking, or, you know, trying to be some kind of a, you know, really elitist when you didn't do it yourself. So, you know, what grounds do you have to criticize this person? So, please stop.
Because Critical for Days gives you money. Because I've heard his name before. He donates money to you. He gives you bits and cheers and shit like that. He has the right to his opinion. I mean, not because he gives you money. They should all have a right to their opinion either way. But he gives you money. So, if he doesn't like the fan art, then he doesn't like the fan art. It is an opinion. He has the right to have it. Just saying.
Wow.
Allosaurus Rex cheered and said, why do you put so much stock into what idiot detractors say about your Street Fighter 2 gameplay? I don't. I don't at all. I don't put any stock into it at all.
I'm good at lying. I'm a very fallible, very, very fragile, very, you know, vulnerable person.
Yep.
Everyone knows that.
Yep.
All right. The point I was making was that people other than me put stock into it. You know, people who don't watch my streams, don't watch my content at all, watch a stupid montage that's completely slanderous, defamatory, and not representative of what one of my actual gameplay streams is, and they think that it is. Oh, well, you know, I watched.
Now remember, he doesn't put any stock in any of this, but yet he's about to go on a miniature rant about it. Absolutely amazing. Oh, I don't care what they say. It's what other people say and whatnot is the reason why I'm addressing it. Uh-huh. It's starting to look like that War Dog Leader situation all over again. It's just not going to be nearly as drastic because that was actually important. But same concept. Oh, the people in my chat feel like he was derailing the chat, so I had to address it. When you look back at the chat logs, though, that's not the case. Yet again, Phil is butthurt about a particular situation because he's proud of his Street Fighter. He's mad that people are basically making a mockery out of it, and he's getting butthurt. And then he's trying to double down and say, oh, I'm not taking any stock into it. I don't care. You know, I'm just addressing it because other people had brought it up. Then let them go ahead and pose their own argument then. It is what it is. If not, you're making yourself look like a sucker. Which you are a sucker, but you're really drumming that situation home. Essentially, Phil got trolled and he doesn't realize it.
Phil plays Street Fighter 2, and all he did was yell at Akuma players and swear. Therefore, he's terrible at the game. You know, that's all here. All I saw was him lose, so obviously he never won a match, right? That's what I mean. Same thing with Sea of Thieves yesterday. So many people came to me and said, Phil, you know, we watched your stream for the first time in a long time, or maybe for the first time ever, and you know.
If that's the case, then why weren't your subs up yesterday? I'm just saying. I'm not saying that just because they come to you once that they need to sub to you right away. That would be kind of silly. But if you have all these people that supposedly come to you and be like, hey, Phil, you know, I really appreciate what you do, and so on and so forth, yada, 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 yada. Where was the subs at? Just saying. If they really like the content and they're there to support you, especially even if they're a first-time person, why couldn't they just kick the $5 up to sub to you? Just say it, Phil. Why is the subs constantly in decline? I just thought I'd ask.
Watching it, and they're like, what the hell? This is good.
No.
Not at all.
This is actually quite good, and, you know, I can't believe that Phil's stream was so good, because I've heard so many negative things. Well, that's the point I was making. There is no stock in anything these idiots say about me. That's the point I'm making. So it's actually the opposite of what you're saying is what the point I was trying to make. Okay.
He was so flustered that he couldn't even finish properly. He couldn't end that he couldn't even end that with a good punchline. That's a shame, Phil. Got you flustered like that? But then again, it does also kind of reaffirm how much he places his legacy and a lot of his confidence in truth on Street Fighter. He has a lot at stake, and that's the reason why he's so quick to defend it, because it's what he hangs his hat on. It's the thing. It's probably one of the few things in life that he's ever done that he's truly proud of. You know what I mean? that he's truly, truly proud of. And he has to defend it at every second. It's been like 10 years. It's probably been longer than 10 years. No one gives a shit. You know what I'm saying? People only prod him and poke at him about it because it's funny. And because you can get a reaction out of him. It's kind of it works in the exact same way on it's like smacking. It's like when you point out Wings of Redemption. It's like when you point out how bad he is at COD now. Same concept. He was a man who used to take an enormous amount of pride in his KD, in his win-loss, in his gun skill, and he doesn't even have any of that anymore. And whenever you point it out, he's quick to tell you that, you know, I hate COD. I only play it because I'm trying to get my sub count up. You know, he likes playing what's that shit called? Rainbow Six Siege. I think that's his game of choice these days. So it's really just an easy target for both men, and neither one of them have been able to accept it.
Days cheered again. He says, "I can't wait for you to stream Street Fighter 30th anniversary. Hope the games are good online and not being asked like Ultra Street Fighter 2. Because if it sucks, some people would say, oh, you suck. I know, but that's the thing. If the online play is garbage and the connections are terrible, people will blame me. Dudes, there's ridiculous amounts of evidence out there that I'm great at Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I've won tournaments. I was the highest placing American player in 2005 at EVO. I've won multiple tournaments in different versions of the game. I've won EVO qualifiers. I mean, there's...
Never won an EVO, though. Yeah, you never won an EVO, though. Sorry about that. And with that being said, it nags him. It nags Adam that he never won an EVO. Especially the year... Oh, field trip time. Slightly. The EVO that Phil's talking about that he took 4th in, right? I'm sure you guys all have heard the lore, but quick recap. It was a shitty port. It was a port. It was a really bad port. Like there was all kinds of problems with the with like damage scaling and shit like that. It was just really terrible. And because of that, a lot of the real gunners out there, you know, said that they weren't going to play. Now, don't be wrong. A lot of respected pro players did play because they thought it was going to be easy money, and you know, they weren't wrong. But a lot of people weren't willing to play. They were like, "Nah, I'm not gonna waste my time with that shit." If Phil ever had a chance to win an EVO, it was then. Now, keep in mind, and this is extremely fair to say, he probably wouldn't have made it past the 3 Japanese players who placed higher than him anyway. They can all adapt. That's what true champions are. That's what a true pro player can do most of the time. They can adapt to their situation. And Phil couldn't. You know, Phil, now, with that being said, Phil put the time in to actually learn the game and to try to better himself where other people thought they could kind of just skim by off, you know, their talent and know-how. But the way this port's mechanics work kind of made that finicky. It made it problematic. But if Phil ever had a chance to win an EVO, it was going to be then. So Phil can tell you everything he wants to say about the locals he won, the EVO qualifiers, and things of that sort. And no one can ever take that away from him, as well as his 4th place finish. But at the end of the day, he didn't win. And at the end of the day, we're talking about something that happened over 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Or, well, how long ago was that? That was back in early 2000s, yeah? So, I mean, yeah, so well over 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Well over 10 years ago when all that shit happened. No one cares. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Phil, we're all about looking forward and not looking back. DSP News.
So much evidence.
I am a former professional fighting game player in the capacity, not that I did it for a living. I was a high-level tournament player, 4th place at EVO, top player of Street Fighter 2 that year overall in the country. And then after that, years I had won, various qualifiers for EVO, and, you know, done pretty good in tournaments overall in Street Fighter 2 over the years. I myself am a former pro fighting game player.
But people just want to ignore it all, just to say that I suck, just for the sake of getting a jolly or getting a dig at me, right? They're idiots. So, yeah, I know. It would really suck after all this hype being built up around the 30th anniversary collection. It comes out and the online play sucks, so I hope it doesn't.
Oh my God. It's terrible. It's a lost cause. I got an anonymous dollar tip that says, you say everyone should wake up, but you seem to be the one stuck in a dream. Oh my God!
What the fuck? Whoa! Whoa!
Does he really not? I think did he really? Okay, I'm not even gonna help you out on that one, Phil.
No idea what that means. I also got another dollar tip from that little voice in your head that says, "I told you it would work itself out. Wait, it's not over. That's heavy." I don't even know what that is.
Sea of Thief cheered and said, Phil, there's a thing called constructive criticism. You criticize other people's work when it's constructive. That guy's right, the fan art for Sea of Thieves is lazy. Okay, but again, here's what you guys gotta realize, alright? There's a difference between constructive criticism and criticizing just for the sake of criticizing. So, let me ask you a question. When you criticize the Sea of Thieves fan art on pre-stream, oh, it's lazy. Okay. Now, obviously, the person who made that fan art isn't amazingly skilled. You can tell because they didn't, you look at the quality of the fan art, right?
Oh my god! I'll bring that back. So wait a second. Look, I'm gonna bring that back real fast. It's amazing. It's amazing he would do something. He would say something stupid like that. All right, let's go.
All right. There's a difference between constructive criticism and criticizing just for the sake of criticizing. So let me ask you a question. When you criticize the Sea of Thieves fan art on pre-stream, oh, it's lazy. Okay. Now, obviously, the person who made that fan art isn't amazingly skilled. You can tell because they didn't, you look at the quality of the fan art, right?
Okay, so so Phil, you're gonna jump on people for criticizing fan art that you yourself just downplayed to make a point. You yourself are acknowledging that it's not even that it's horrible. It's just the Sea of Thieves logo, so to speak, and then Phil's face is in one corner. For all we know, Phil made the fan art himself. But okay, so it's not fancy. There's nothing to it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have any oomph. It doesn't have any panache or anything like that. There's no real presentation. Okay, fair enough. But how are you gonna dog the very fan art that you're trying to protect, that you're trying to stick up for? Oh my God, Phil, you're such an idiot. That's amazing.
What a complete idiot.
So do you really think that for someone who maybe took a little bit of effort and did as best as they could, the only person, by the way, who went out of their way to actually make fan art for the game, right? They do it, and now you basically shit all over them, publicly on stream. How do you think that makes them feel? Do you think...
Wait a second, how many people have you publicly shitted on stream, Phil? For less than that? Let's bring up, I'm going to try to get his name right, because, oh my God, people generally associate him as a cuck before anything else, and that's how I usually remember him. What is your name, dude? Waifu Destroyer Matt. There we go. Oh my God. Sorry. All right, Waifu Destroyer Matt. Or Waifu Destroyer Matt. Okay, so you shitted on him pretty hard. And that was a while ago, but that you still shitted on him pretty hard. And he still shows back up. You publicly shamed that guy for having an opinion. And how did he feel, Phil? How did he feel when he asked you a couple of light questions, to be honest with you, those just were light, and you sat there and you tried to make an example out of him for everybody else? Is this supposed to be part of this whole positivity bullshit that you're talking about? You know how much of a hypocrite you sound for regular people who came to you day in and day out, supported you, gave you money, and finally when they built up the courage to ask you a question, you shitted on them publicly. Did you give a shit about what they were feeling then? Were you concerned at all about the repercussions of what would come out of that? Or did you think they were just going to be good occultists and just show back up later on? Which is what they did. So you might want to take heed to that before you start going on this spiel about, oh, don't criticize this guy for his fan art. He had very little skill and he just put something together really fast just so I could have something. How does he feel by you shitting on him on stream? Don't do that. Don't do that. You have no grounds to stand on to say that. That makes you a hypocrite. And you don't have any right at all to try to turn around and make it sound like you have high ground. You don't. So let's not go down that path. Let's not try to be stupid and do stupid shit like that. Let's not. And not unless you're ready to take what comes next.
They're not motivated to make more fan art? No. Now instead they just never want to do it again. Because now they feel like shit because you shat on their one effort to make fan art.
Wait a second, did he just get mad because he might not get fan art again? Let's bring that back.
Effort and did as best as they could. The only person, by the way, who went out of their way to actually make fan art for the game, right? They do it, and now you basically shit all over them publicly on stream. How do you think that makes them feel? Do you think they're not motivated to make more fan art? No. Now instead they just never want to do it again. Because now they feel like shit because you shat on their one effort to make fan art, and there's no one else who made a piece of art, right? The bottom line is, I'm not picky. I'm appreciative.
So you're not really standing up for the person. More so, you're standing up for the idea that you will defend the art that's given to you because, one, you're not picky, and two, if you let people shit on it, they might not make you any more fan art, and Lord knows you need that fan art for your business moving forward. So to whoever it was who made the fan art out there, he's not protecting you because he legitimately feels bad for you. He's protecting you because he wants you to make more fan art. And he's protecting the general concept of people making fan art for him, even if it's bad. No matter what people send to him, he'll use it because he doesn't have any standards. So the fact that this guy was able to call you out on what you put together for Phil, and Phil's feeling a certain type of way because now he's like, oh shit, if I know it's bad, I know it's really bad, or at least it's lazy, but if I don't defend it, then I won't get any more fan art. And Jesus Christ, I need more fan art. Because Phil had already been bitching about not getting any fan art for like the last month. Okay, so that's DS positive, ladies and gentlemen. At its finest. As hypocritical as ever.
Anything that anyone does for me or my streams, and I'm not going to be an elitist douchebag. Oh, this fan art is not up to my standard for something I could put on my stream. Oh, I'm going to reject this one and tell them, do better, screw off. No. And sadly, that's kind of the attitude people are having. Well, then you make fan art. Seriously, you make it. Because guess what? This person is just a person who volunteered and did it for free, just made something nice for the stream. This wasn't someone I paid to do it, and then the effort sucks, so I come back with constructive criticism. So, seriously, grow up. And I mean that, because what you're doing is really nasty and negative, and it's not appreciated. So, stop it.
That person has 100% has the right to share their opinion. It's called freedom of speech.
Critical for days, cheered against, and I'm sorry about the cheer about the fan art, but it's still my opinion. You disagree with it, but I have a question. When is it right to criticize someone's work, and when is it not right to? It's very simple, like I just explained. It's one thing if, okay, Phil's putting out a stream.
God damn, Phil's getting baited. God damn, Phil is getting baited. This is amazing. And yet again, it goes back to something where Phil criticizes people for their comments and for messages that are left on his cheers and tips all the time. He does it without remorse. He does it without any real forethought. Because Phil doesn't think before he talks. And yet, when you criticize Phil, or you criticize something about Phil that could somehow benefit him in some way, whether in the immediate or at the stretch of his arm, maybe a week or so down the line, all of a sudden he gets defensive. And here's the interesting thing. Phil goes for what I like to call low-hanging fruit. He goes for comments that he feels that are obvious troll or obvious criticism to him. He doesn't, for some strange reason, for someone who's as smart as he says he is, he doesn't actually get the meta that some of these guys throw at him, where they're actually really kind of digging at him and they're baiting him further and further down the line, which only works against Phil because he'll continue to keep thinking about it. Moving forward with certain comments and stuff, like what's going on right now, and he doesn't see like the problem with it. He continues to have to address it, whereas he would just have this person banned and just keep it moving. Now, it's very fair to say that the person who's making these donations is someone who's here frequently. So then Phil would normally give someone like that a little bit of leeway, but Phil is looking at this as a threat, so that's why he's trying to approach it. At the same time, he's continuing to make himself look like a hypocrite the more he talks. You would think someone of Phil's intelligence, or at least Phil's supposed intelligence, would be smart enough to just let this subject go. You would think so. There are plenty of cheers and tips and shit like that Phil gets, and he doesn't read the comments. And sometimes it's not like how, oh, obvious troll comment, I'm not going to read it. There are times where you can tell, because you can tell from his chat logs, he's giving donations and he'll take a quick look, and then he won't say anything. He'll just move on with it. So don't ever believe that Phil reads every donation he gets, because he doesn't. But Phil should really let this go. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Phil, wants to entertain us, but he also wants to make money doing it. He wants us to support him, so we have the right to criticize his work to make it better. 100%, I am in agreement with you. 100%, yes. But someone out of the kindness of their heart creates fan art for free. They may not be skilled. They're the only person who even takes any effort to make a piece of fan art for a game. They make it and I use it. Now you shit all over it. No, sorry, that's not allowed.
Stop being a drama queen.
There's a time and a place. Sadly, people think it's black and white. Either all criticism is okay, or no criticism is okay. Wrong. That's not the case. The world is many shades of gray, and you need to look at things both objectively and subjectively. In this case, criticizing a piece of fan art like this and tearing it apart is wrong, and it's messed up, and you should know that. Maybe eventually in life you'll figure it out, but, you have to weigh and balance these things. Do you want to play the fucking game? Pick your fights. Again, you want to improve the quality of my stream via, constructive criticism? Great. You want to tear apart some fan's fan art who's the only person who put any effort into doing anything at all? No, that's ridiculous, that's elitist, and that's very, very, I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. Oh, entitled. There we go. It's being entitled. Oh, this stream deserves better. Get the fuck out of here. Guys, this is a fun gameplay stream by a person who just wants to have fun and share gameplay experiences with you. We're not looking for high-end professional quality shit. We're not. Sorry, we're not. This has always been a one-man show. I do it by myself. I don't have anyone really to help me, and the people that do it...
Okay, so we're not looking for high-end professional shit. So basically what you're saying, Phil, is that you acknowledge that the fan art's garbage. You said that you didn't say it, but you acknowledge that it's certainly not very good. And... you continue to agree that the fan art isn't very good, yet you're mad that someone else has pointed it out, and you feel the need to defend it. Here's the thing, Phil. Fan art is just that. It's fan art. It's what your fans put out there. It is what it is. You have to, when you put yourself out there like that, you're subjective. You're subjected to criticism in some way, shape, or form. What criticism does is it makes you better if you know how to handle it. The fan art looks like it's thrown together. Let's be honest. It looks like it was literally 2 minutes. It is what it was. Maybe the person just wanted to put something together really fast and just send it off to Phil. Fair enough. It is what it is. That person has to know that. So with that being said, what is all this complaining about? What is all this extra about? The fan art's not very good. The person who sent it knows it's probably not very good. Phil took it because that's what Phil does. He takes everything that's given to him. End of story. You sitting here making an issue out of this gets you nowhere. It doesn't serve any real purpose. It just makes you look petty. I'm sure the person who had the fan art sent, if he or she is that butthurt about it, then guess what? You probably shouldn't have made the fan art in the first place, because you had to have known what community that you're in and what was to come from that. First things first. Second thing, equally as important, but at the same time, it makes you wonder why he's putting so much time into this, is Phil, why the hell are you so worried about it? You could have literally not addressed this situation and no one would have cared. You're wasting time. You really are. And you're fighting a battle when there is no war. Just leave it alone, okay? The person sent you some shitty fan art or lazy fan art. It is what it is. I'm sure they understand that, and you're making a big issue out of it for no reason. You got baited, and I think you're starting to realize you got baited, and now you have to figure out how you can get yourself out of this. So you want to try to turn this into a positive spin. Just my opinion, of course, but that's what it's starting to feel like. It's him talking for the sake of talking. How is it that you live in this giant house with somebody else, and yet you still feel the need to drag shit like this out? Do you have no one to talk to on a day-to-day basis? You know what I mean? Does Kat just kind of lock herself in her office and just zone out on Overwatch for hours out of the day when she's not cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, painting the house, mowing the lawn, washing your car? At least the neighbors have something to look at, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. What are we doing? Seriously.
Go out of their way to help me. I'm incredibly appreciative of. I'm not going to be an elitist, entitled jerk who rejects fan art because it looks like it's MS Paint. Well, screw off then. Then I don't deserve fan art at all if I'm going to have that kind of attitude. So you guys shouldn't have it either.
Wow.
Who brought up Microsoft Paint? I'm sorry. Who brought up Microsoft Paint though? Damn, Phil. See, so Phil right there is telling you what he thought of it. Oh my God. See, that's why you that's why you got to think before you talk, Phil. Phil just told you what he Oh, Phil. That's hilarious. Let's bring that back. That's amazing. That's so amazing. Wow. That kind of hurts because now, if I don't know if his fan base caught it, but now Phil believes that this piece of artwork was made in Microsoft Paint. It's a shame. Oh, that's a shame. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when this is what it sounds like listening to an ungrateful human being. You know what I mean? He's throwing sneak disses at the very person he's trying to defend. Oh my God. When they talked about that shit on Twitter, I thought it was a joke. Oh, so amazing. All right, here we go. I'm sorry.
This has always been a one-man show. I do it by myself. I don't have anyone really to help me. And the people that do, go out of their way to help me, I'm incredibly appreciative of. I'm not going to be an elitist, entitled jerk who rejects fan art because it looks like it's meant in this paint. Well, screw off then. Then I don't deserve fan art at all if I'm going to have that kind of attitude. So you guys shouldn't have it either.
Wow. I guess I'm not that smart. Man, I'm stupid. Another troll cheer here. Here we go. I guess you'll stop calling game devs lazy and shitting on them in front of hundreds, especially since you did poorly in computer science and developed games. No, moron.
Oh my God.
Because guess what? I paid for their games, stupid. Why am I toxic? More toxic, over-dramatic, drama queen, toxic shit, toxic toilet juice, dramatic, toxic content, garbage content. It's all about drama and bullshit and toxicity. It's not about putting out quality stuff on YouTube anymore. Insane amount of disgusting toxicity. I paid for their game. I paid for a quality product, therefore I have the right to criticize. All Phil ever does is talk about money. If I'm running a stream and I'm asking for contributions, you have the right to criticize my stream. This person made fan art for free, which I accepted and used. There's no right to criticize it. So, moron, thanks for the cheer. The salty tears. My mouth is full of salt. Oh, you're gonna get salt. It's even now, get my mouth overpowered with salt flavor. All I can taste is the saltiness.
Was 100% salt.
Wow, Bowser Shop just left a troll cheer. You are now banned because you've now done this about 4 times this week, and I've had enough of you. I literally just said like 5 times during pre-stream that I could be criticized. What the fuck? That's 100% a lie. And it's 100% wrong. I know you're lying. I'm good at lying. Silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way, and hopefully you'll believe it, even though that's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better. But someone who makes fan art shouldn't be. And Bowser Chomp said, Phil, why can't you be criticized but everyone else can? You're an idiot. Goodbye. I'm not a whiny baby. I'm a mature adult. And I'm not a children's entertainer. Definitely as a person, I've grown.
You don't say.
I've changed.
Really?
I've become way more mature, that's for sure.
Way more mature.
You think I'm the villain? Go fuck yourself. Enough. We're tired of you wasting our time here. Goodbye. Keep your quarters to yourself. What?
Keep your quarters to yourself. Oh, today's a good day. Today's a good day. Oh my God. Get some healthy laughing in there. Keep your quarters to yourself. Oh. If it was a full $1, would he have banned him? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the true question.
Burn in hell, Burnell. And I'm gonna burn in hell for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, probably.
Because of it.
Yep.
You can't change who you are, I guess.
No, you can't.
What pasta do you prefer?
Oh, boy. That was great. That was absolutely great. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So what did we learn today? Phil will defend his free artwork because why the hell not? That's amazing. That's so amazing. 2, you cannot criticize Phil unless you give him money or contribute to him in some way, shape, or form, and you'll probably get banned either way. So maybe you just shouldn't criticize him. The world is not black and white. It's merely filled with gout and doubt. Those are the only 2 ways to go about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're on the detractor side, you have the doubt. If you're on Phil's side, you have the gout. Oh boy. Oh boy. So very fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network in Productions. I'm your host, GTG. Well, your host / anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. End of broadcast. Oh boy, that laughing came from a healthy place. A healthy place. Gout free.